Weather and life both change quickly. Do you have a farm estate plan? You need to learn the best option to help your family avoid or minimize federal estate taxes and other costs.
I'm Brad Swenson, President of Swenson Investments and Commodities. We work confidentially with farmers, ranchers, and advisors to help develop the best farm estate plan.
During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk a little bit about the myth that is food versus fuel. I've never heard anything so ridiculous in my life. Okay, so basically, some of the corn is getting used in our country for ethanol production. But the thing that people fail to realize, they say, well, a third of our corn is going into ethanol production. Yeah, so? You know what they use for ethanol production? They use starch. Can you eat starch? Sure. But does it do our livestock any good? Not much. What you end up with in the end after the ethanol production is what's called distiller's grain. And that is basically the concentrated nutrients now that's much more rich in nutrients, and they took some of the starch out. Okay, well, did we really lose much of anything? No. So why is everybody making a big deal about it?
Well, here's how I look at it, Brian. I look at it like an orange. If I buy an orange at the grocery store, I'll take the peel off it and I'll eat the middle of the orange and I'll throw the peel in the garbage. Now, is there some nutritional value in the peel? Yeah, but you know what? I've never eaten an orange peel in my life. I'm not going to. It has zero value once I throw it in the garbage can. And really, if you're a cow, you're thinking the same thing. You can get corn, just raw corn. It's about 8% protein. Or you can have dry distiller's grains that are about 23% protein. Would you rather have the 23% or the 8? Well, the cow really doesn't care, but if you could take all that starch out of there, he doesn't have to eat all that junk that he doesn't want. He can just eat the good part, the protein that he gets in the distiller's grains. So really, when you think about it, there is no food versus fuel as far as that animal's concerned. He gets what he wants. The plant gets the ethanol out of that corn. It works for everybody.
So basically, it just comes down to a whole bunch of worthless propaganda, and people keep talking about, oh, food versus fuel. There is no such thing. We can have both because we're taking something that's almost completely worthless as feed, and we're using it for ethanol. Now that seems like a good use of something that's basically about worthless, doesn't it? Where we can reduce our dependence on foreign oil and we inject the money into our own country instead of into foreign countries.
And to prove our point, here's some stats that will show what's going on. You look at the corn produced over the years, and as the yields have gone up, we've produced more bushels of corn almost every year as you look all the way down the chart. Now look at how much ethanol is being used. And ethanol has been growing for years and years. You compare just from 2007 to 2010, it's about double. Now, let's figure back putting these DDGs and the nutritional value of them back into the system in addition to the corn that we didn't use for ethanol. And you look at how much corn is actually left after the ethanol process. And when we talk about bushels in 2010 versus 2007, for example, the ethanol production has doubled, yet the amount of bushels available after ethanol production is only down just a little bit. So it really hasn't made that much difference when you start figuring the nutritional value of those DDGs going back into the livestock market. Ethanol's had really not that much impact on how much corn is left for other uses.
Well, once again, the whole food versus fuel thing is simply a myth, and we encourage you to look at the actual real stats so you know what's really going on out in the country rather than just listening to a bunch of people that have no idea what they're even talking about. Again, dried distiller's grain is the end product that's going to come after ethanol production, and it's just a much more concentrated feed that's way better for livestock than the original corn was in the first place.
One other thing you'll need to talk to people who actually know something about is our weed of the week, because this tough weed can absolutely take over an area. We'll show you how to get it under control later on in the show.